Hi, this is Ben Rogers. This is the Property Diary. This is the 2nd of October, Tuesday. Just want to tell you about a couple of calls that I've had or made today that have come in from inquiries from the leaflets that we do. Interestingly, both landlords. So that's quite interesting because most of the inquiries we get from leaflets tend to be homeowner sellers rather than landlord sellers. But the first one was a lady who called me from London. She'd been down to a property in Chatham and picked up the leaflet because it was an empty property and she was renting it out. She actually lives in Wales, and the reason for her wanting to sell, she bought this property in auction about a year ago. It's 2 flats in one property. One flat's become empty. She bought it for about 77, spent about 40 on it, and now wants to sell it for 130. And it's got kind of 125 owing against it. A more elderly lady. The reason for selling is that she's a long way away from it, and there's the hassle factor. So it kind of makes sense for us because we get straight into 2 flats that are creating good money. I think one she's saying is making 110 a week, one's 120 a week. That's not too bad not too shabby for a flat in that area. So she get kind of good return on investment of what she's spent, as far as I'm concerned. But it's hassle. She lives in Wales, probably in Kent. Long story, long conversation with her, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere because she says that she wants all the money out, but she hasn't got anything to actually spend it on. She just wants the money in her bank account. So of course I've gone down the conversation of, well, how much you're going to get out of having that money in the bank. Ooh, maybe about 4%. Yeah, so if I could offer you maybe 10%, instead of putting it into the bank of HSBC, maybe just keep it in the bank of Ben, keep it in the bank of the property, and you get a much better return on that, and we'll give you an exit strategy price for the property to sell it, say 5 years time. And her attitude is, well, what about if the property goes up in value? And what about if, I wouldn't want to set a price now? And this is an interesting thing you'll find with working with investors and with landlords, is that it's not about the emotional stuff. Although it is from her point of view, because she really wants to kind of get rid of the property, doesn't want the hassle of having the property when she lives miles away from it. It's all about, I want on the cash. What's the return on my investment? What am I getting for it right now? What could I get if I sell it? What can I do? So the way this one's been left, and I wouldn't normally do this, but she's an ex-solicitor and she wants to know more about the contracts, etc. So I'm going to send her something in the post and actually on email, kind of giving her more confirmation. I wouldn't normally do this. It's kind of out of my normal realms of this is what's going to make a deal happen, but I'm going to give it a go so I can kind of report back to you so you can see how it's worked, and it'll either shift my thinking or it'll reconfirm what I think I already know, which is actually, unless people make their mind up and it's a decision they want to do, a contract, an email, a letter ain't going to make a flipping shred of difference. So anyway, that was the first call. Second call was with a landlord. He's got a property that's become empty, but his motivation is that the tenants have been in that property for about 6 years. They've now left, and the property needs some work doing to it. It needs some tiling doing in the bathroom. The whole house needs redecorating, and he thinks it needs new carpets. So he's got this thought process: do I take kind of a month out of lettings of this property? Do I then spend, in his own words, it's like £2,500–3,000 on doing the property back up again, or do I maybe look at something else? And again, he's a London landlord with a property in Kent. It doesn't necessarily, I think it's the only one that he's got down here. The rest of his stuff is closer to home where he lives. So there's a level of motivation, but not enough. And again, out of my normal remit, I've decided that I'm actually going to send him confirmation in writing about what I would do. So my point with this today's update is this: normally when you're dealing with landlords, they're not that motivated unless they've really got some big problems, but their level of motivation is different. It's more on the financial side, and when you're dealing with a homeowner and a seller, they have normally got a motivation to move on, which is a lot more personal. If one of these landlords has a property unlet for a month, is it going to be the end of the world for them? That's different from somebody who's maybe emigrating, wants to jump on an aeroplane, or somebody who is unfortunately going through like a marital split, just can't stand living in the same house as their partner. So think about it. The way you can work with landlords is, I do a lot of sort of Gumtree stuff and responding to adverts in my local paper, and it's very specific. It's targeting and saying, look, hey, working with landlords, these landlords are people that are fed up with their property, looking to move on, just thought it might be something you might be interested in. We're looking at sort of 3 to 5 year long-term let with the option of maybe buying in the future. If that works, you get into contact. And all I'm doing there is kind of like a filtering system. But with these landlords who are responding to my leaflets, it's slightly different. So I'll try it. I'll keep you up to date. I'll let you know how the conversation goes, what sort of feedback I get. I'll write to them and I'll follow up. My gut feeling is I probably won't hear from them unless I chase them. That's just my gut feeling based on experience of doing this in the past. So that's it, Ben Rogers, Tuesday, 2nd of October. I hope you're having a great day and I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Take care.